Check for airbag safety recalls at nhtsa.gov and get recalls repaired for free.
Dawn Platinum breaks down and removes up to 99% of tough grease and food residue. Scrub less, save more.
I keep reaching, but you're not reaching back. You're not reaching back. Trying to get in, find you through the cracks, find you through the cracks. I guess I'm trying to say, hands don't feel this far. You're not so lonely. Next to me, if you're sitting right here, why don't we want to part? Why don't we want to part? Yes, you're somewhere. Why do you feel this hard? Why don't we want to stop playing among the stars and then fall so low. Trying to make sense as I go. 'Cause nothing is ever just so. Why are we
Broadcasting from down on the bayou, it's the Average Marks Pro Wrestling Podcast, powered by Lake Area Media, LLC. And now your hosts, David Boston and Patrick Fry.
And welcome to episode 111 of the Average... I almost did it there too, Patrick, of the AMP Pro Wrestling Podcast.
We can't quite get. We've done it for so long. It's one of those things. You do something for so long, and when you change it up, you still come back to old habits.
Yeah. What sponsorship? We didn't even talk about that. Which one are we going to throw up there today?
I don't know.
Let's go CBD.
All right, CBD for you. tinyurl.com/CBD for you. Of course, CBD is the medicinal. What's
Cousin,
the word?
brother?
What's the word I'm thinking of? It's the medicinal ingredient, I guess, in marijuana,
Element.
in cannabis. Yes, there you go. The medicinal element of cannabis. So if you getting older like us, and you get random aches and pains, CBD can help you out there. And at tinyurl.com/CBD for you, you can get anywhere from 50% to 80% off CBD products. They have CBD gummies. I think they have oils. They probably have chocolate candy.
They do.
Infused with CBD. But you got to really get in there at the right time to get that stuff, because I've always tried to get in there and get some of that CBD chocolate. That stuff goes like hotcakes.
Yeah.
So good luck on the search for the chocolate, but they have plenty of other things out there. If maybe chocolate's not your thing, I don't know why it wouldn't be anyone's thing, but I've met people before that do not like chocolate, so it's very weird to me, but it is what it is. So they have plenty of other options for you to choose from as far as the kind of products that are infused with CBD at tinyurl.com/CBD for you.
Yeah, they even have Tommy Chong products over there. So,
Well, we know what he likes to do.
He's in the CBD market now, though.
Well, I'm pretty sure he's probably still in that THC market.
Well, of course he
as
is.
well. That's where the money's at.
Yeah.
But anyways, all right, you got anything to add to this advertisement?
No, go to that link, get you some CBD, help your boys out. It's an affiliate link.
All righty. Well, on today's episode number 111 of the AMP Wrestling Podcast for Thursday, September the 2nd, 2021. Man, it's already September. That's kind of crazy to think
college
about.
game tonight.
College football is really back in full swing tonight. Looking forward to that. Coming up here in a matter of 30 minutes. As soon as I leave here, I got to go pick up my girl, and we're going to have dinner. But luckily, the place we're going to have dinner at has lots of TVs. It's actually going to...
You going to B-Dubs?
No, we're going to a place at the casino. It's called Food and Brews. They're actually going... That's the place they're actually going to turn into the sports book.
Oh, that's right.
So I don't know if they're going to keep the jumbo wings they have over there, which are some of my favorite wings in town. So I'm going to go have them, hopefully not for the last time, but possibly for the last time.
Dang it.
So go and eat that tonight, watch a little college football, and glad college football is back.
Nice.
One of my favorites. If you ever look at my personal Twitter profile, I'm pretty sure my bio is college football and pro wrestling junkie. So those are my two things, college football and pro wrestling. But today we're just going to talk about some pro wrestling. So on today's episode, we're going to talk about Vince McMahon and Bruce Prichard are now going to be producing NXT. So we'll talk about that. That's... Yeah, I don't know what's going on with that. We'll talk about that, obviously, coming up here in a little bit. Also, huge pay-per-view this Sunday, AEW All Out.
Yes.
We're going to preview that. We have a little cheap heat segment. Nia Jax and Charlotte Flair had a very interesting match on Monday Night Raw, and it looked like it might have turned into a shoot fight there for a little bit. We'll talk about that. Also, we got some rumor mill stuff. What's CM Punk's future in MMA? I can pretty much guess what that's going to be. Bryan Danielson's AEW debut as well. There's been some talk about when he's going to debut, and a new trademark was filed by WWE. We'll talk about that as well. And then we've got some rumors on the feud between Lashley and Goldberg. Or as I like to say, Oldberg. We'll talk about that and everything else coming up here on episode number 111 of the AMP Wrestling Podcast for Thursday, September 2nd, 2021.
Find your boys on your favorite social media platform, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, YouTube. We're there. Just search AMP Wrestling Podcast.
Cruz is in the chat. He said,
Hey.
okay, I'm here from the beginning. First one I catch at the beginning. So,
Nice.
Well, thanks, Cruz. Feel free to stick around. We're going to talk about AEW All Out. I know that's certainly your interest, but the first thing we're going to talk about is the fact that Vince McMahon and Bruce Prichard are now going to be producing NXT. Let's see.
What a great idea.
I don't know what caused this, but I got an article here.
Vince McMahon caused it. That's what caused it.
Well, I have a feeling the fact that NXT pretty much lost the Wednesday Night Wars and were forced to, I wouldn't say they were forced, but I guess they chose to move to Tuesday nights.
Well, they're your developmental talent. What did you expect?
Yeah, and it's weird you say that because over the past, I would say 3-4 years, their developmental talent has probably put on a better product than their main roster talent.
Yeah, as long as they were on the network, they were the hottest thing around. Now you put them to TV and you're snuffing out the product.
Yeah, that's true. But let's see here. I'm pulling up the article. Okay, so on Wrestling Observer Live, during a discussion about this week's episode of NXT and the impending changes to the overall product, Brian Alvarez said that he has heard from people in WWE who are telling him that the new NXT will be produced by Vince McMahon and Bruce Prichard. Alvarez also said, like anything can change. Anything is possible, but I talked a while ago about how we're going to have a new NXT. It's going to be like the old NXT. I've heard from several people now that when they go back to live shows, this is going to be a Vince McMahon, Bruce Prichard production. As previously noted, the plan is for a complete overhaul of the brand. Last Friday, they introduced a new logo with music provided by Wale. When they go live September 14th, fans will see a new performance center, and NXT is expected to have different lighting and colors because Vince McMahon wants to get away from the dark look. The other big change on the show will be with the talent. The plan is to sign younger talent and fewer names from the independent scene. Alvarez said that people have speculated for years that McMahon, I said that a few times, McMahon had his fingerprints on the show, but that was never the case, but it will be the case going forward. I think that's all it says right there. So
it said they're not going to hire indie talent?
Yeah.
What are they going to raid Impact?
That's a good question. I don't know where they're going to get these guys from.
ROH?
I saw they had a new performance center class, I guess you could say, which is weird because the last one they had, half of them got released. Didn't even make it to NXT. So
I know Cruz is going to hate this, but by God, go sign Will Ospreay.
Yeah, well, speaking of, he just got diagnosed with COVID, so
Dang. He's had a bad year.
He just said, well, NXT finna be trash. I'm afraid that's going to be the case. I mean, I guess I'll try to check it out. But you know what?
Well, now Vince McMahon can kill NXT stars before they make the main roster now.
But I don't know. I think over the past within the last year, I feel this is my personal opinion. I'm sure other people will think differently, but I feel like NXT has started to lose its luster because NXT had a phenomenal run for a few years where they had some big stars. I mean, they got Samoa Joe back there right now, but of course they had Samoa Joe back then. They had Finn Balor. They had Shinsuke Nakamura. They had Adam Cole, Bebe, who,
Bobby Roode.
Even though he was just there recently, he's now officially gone from the company.
Yeah.
The Undisputed Era, obviously they broke them up. You had, going back a little ways, some teams like American Alpha who were really over in NXT, the Ascension, the Vaudevillains. Those are some older tag teams I'm thinking of. You had guys like EC3, the Velveteen Dream, all these guys that really made NXT must watch just about every single week. So, and then it made the NXT takeovers must see wrestling television.
And what a great female roster too over the years.
Yeah, I know. I kind of forgot some of the female. I mean, obviously people like
you male chauvinist pig.
I know. People like Charlotte Flair, Becky Lynch, Sasha Banks, Bayley, the Four Horsewomen, obviously just to name off
Alexa
the
Bliss.
top. Alexa Bliss, she's one of the OGs.
Carmella.
Carmella came from there. The most beautiful woman in WWE.
Almost every girl came from there.
Yeah, at this point, almost every girl that's on the roster now did come from NXT. Even I think Mickie James went down there at one point.
Oh, she was looking good at NWA 73.
I know. I did see this that thing she was wearing. It was pretty nice. Sure, Nick Aldis was very happy about that. Cruz said the real IWGP Heavyweight Champion would never, not even if his old lady is in NXT UK. Will Ospreay would be foolish
Boy,
to do
if they
that.
showed him those zeros, he would.
Maybe so, but
who wouldn't?
But anyway, we're getting back to NXT. Obviously, they went up against AEW Dynamite in the Wednesday Night Wars, which lasted all but a year and a half, something like that.
As you like to say, a cup of coffee.
Yeah, a cup of coffee. And at least compared to the Monday Night Wars back in the 90s, that lasted for a handful of years. So I think partially the fact that NXT lost the Wednesday Night Wars, they had to move to Tuesdays, and even then, their ratings have not really improved all that much. So, my guess, my theory, is that they're seeing that being on their own night, not going up against any other wrestling show, that they're not improving. So I guess Vincent feels like, hey, let me put my touch on this, and it'll get better. Which, obviously he's had his hands all over the main roster for forever now, and the product as of late in the main roster is just going down, down, down. Although there's moments, they have good moments. I'm not gonna lie, they do have good moments here and there, but overall, it's not what it used to be.
To be honest with you, I haven't seen NXT since they came off the network. Well, no, the first show I watched.
Yeah. I watched it here and there, but, I mean, obviously when it was going up against Dynamite on Wednesdays, I was watching Dynamite.
Yeah.
It would take a lot for me. And then when it moved over to Tuesdays, I did watch a couple of episodes, but I don't know. I guess like I was saying earlier, all the star power that was there 2-3 years ago, that's really not there anymore. And the last big star they had, Adam Cole Bay, is gone now. And they brought Samoa Joe back.
But he's old. What are they going to do with him?
He's the NXT champion, so
yeah,
he's kind of running the show there. And then you had a guy like Karrion Kross who seemed like they were going to build up to be like the next like big monster, big star in NXT, and
I tell you.
And then they crapped the bed with that.
And he Vince McMahoned him.
Yeah, pretty much. Then he lost to Jeff Hardy, and that was all she wrote. So, yeah, I don't know what to expect. I guess September 14th, that's in a couple of weeks. That's going to be the first date that all this change is going to take place. So I guess I'll tune in September 14th and see what it looks like, see if there's any differences, obviously, because I feel like, and I'm guessing now Triple H is not running the show anymore. I don't know if Triple H is going to have any hands on NXT, and if he doesn't, then I don't know if that's good news for NXT.
I know where his hands would be.
Well, we know where his hands are when he's not working, but that's neither here nor there.
Yeah.
But
listen to this. Fightful.com is saying that they're so tight-lipped about this new NXT rebrand, not even the top stars at NXT know what's going to happen.
Well, in WWE, I feel like a lot, like, for example, the one that just came off the top of my head, like Becky Lynch returning at SummerSlam, I don't think anybody knew that was going to happen until the day before. I don't think Becky knew until the day before. So the fact that things are happening but no one knows about it until the last minute, I think that's a normal thing in WWE. So
maybe they're used to it.
Yeah, it's one of those things they're immune to. They're like, it's whatever.
Yeah,
it's just another day in the WWE locker room, So I don't know what to think of this. Obviously, on the surface, based on what Vince and Bruce have been doing with the main roster as of late, like I said, they've had their good moments, but for the most part, overall, the product is dwindling down in a downward spiral. What's going to happen to NXT? I mean, I'm curious to see what the changes are, to see how it goes, but am I optimistic about it? Not really.
I wonder what they mean by old NXT. It's going to be like the old NXT. Are they talking about when it was on the network or back when it was like FCW?
That's a good question. Because they were talking about getting rid of the dark, whatever, the dark feature. I feel like NXT was always like that since its inception back in, I think, 2012. So maybe my initial thought was maybe they're going to go back to like the FCW kind of thing, which FCW did pretty well back in the day, but I don't know. It's September 14th apparently is when this new change is going to take place. They got a new logo. They got everything. It's like they're hitting the reset button. So I'm anxious to see what they're going to do with it. I don't know. It's like I've already lost interest in NXT as of late, and I'm afraid this is just going to help me lose more interest in NXT.
Boy, speaking of FCW, have you seen Dave Bautista is in the Jason Momoa Apple Plus Series C?
Dave Bautista?
Yeah.
As in like Batista?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
And have you seen the new trailer for that?
I don't think so. No.
for the new season?
No, I
Oh
don't think I
God,
have.
it looks awesome. You gotta check it out.
Well, shout out to old Dave Bautista.
Yeah, he's doing a lot of things. He's in a State Farm commercial. He's making movies on Netflix.
Well, yeah, I mean, he was in the
Moving and
the
Shaking.
Avengers, was it? Or
Yeah.
yeah. So
No, he was in. Well, yeah, he was in an Avengers movie, but he was in the Guardians of the Galaxy.
Guardians of the Galaxy. That's what it is. Yes. So he
He just lost some nerd points.
Well, I don't keep up with it like that, but yeah, I know he was. Apparently, I read a thing a while back that movie doing Guardians of the Galaxy kind of like saved his ass. Like he wasn't doing very well financially, and that helped him. And
I
I think
some pretty bad movies before that.
I couldn't even tell you what movie he was in before that.
I watched a few of them. They were terrible.
All right, so anything else to add about Vince and Bruce taking over NXT?
No, I'm interested, but I'll check it out on YouTube. I'm not going to watch on the 14th.
Yeah, I might check it out on the 14th just to see how it changes and whatnot. But then again, I should probably watch NXT. Well, I mean, I've kind of seen NXT here and there over the past few months, but I'm not. I don't know. It hasn't done anything for me lately. So, All right. Well, what has done something for me lately is AEW, and I think it's done a lot for a lot of people. And this weekend, their biggest show of the year, AEW All Out, Sunday night, September the 5th. I'm looking forward to it. I'm also glad it's not on Saturday night because Saturday night is a big college football night, and in years past, they've had it on the Saturday night. I think moving this, especially, and I know they have Double or Nothing on Memorial Day weekend, and obviously now they do All Out on Labor Day weekend. Having them, because obviously those are the 2 weekends of the year where we get off, from work, or most people get off from work on the Mondays. So Sunday night is practically Saturday night. So you can get away with doing these shows on that Sunday night, and people, can stay up late that night and sleep in the next morning. Don't have to go to work. So there you go. So I'm glad they're doing it on Sunday night so that it doesn't conflict with although there is a college football game the Sunday night, but it's just one game, and LSU plays on Saturday night. So I won't be conflicted trying to watch All Out and LSU. So there you go.
Nice.
But yeah, what a match card. And then they yanked probably one of the better matches, unfortunately. They had to yank Andrade, El Idolo, and Pac due to Pac having travel issues, and it would be and that match is postponed until a future episode of Rampage.
Why is he still over in Europe?
I have no idea.
Why does he not live in... You work in the U.S., dude. Like, I'm sure you have a house here. Why are you still going back to Europe?
That's a good question. But maybe that's where his home is. He gets
I'm sure that's where his home and his family is, but they're paying you to show up.
Well, maybe it was something out of his control. Maybe he had been going back and forth and he had no issues, and then all of a sudden there was, I don't know.
Yeah, but with all this COVID, you can't play with that.
Yeah, I know during the pandemic, traveling, I feel has, been a little more difficult at times
dicey
for a lot of people. Yeah, exactly. It's dicey. So, but anyway, look, hey, we still have a really stacked card here. I'm going to go over it.
Are they adding a match in the place of it?
Not that I know of.
No,
I mean, but check this out. Including the pre-show, there's still 10 matches.
Oh, okay.
So
that's nice.
We're about to go over the match card here. I think you'll be okay. And then the fact that we're going to get Andrade, El Idolo, and Pac on an episode of Rampage on free television. Hey, well, I would say free, but you get what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Non-pay-per-view television. I think that'll be pretty cool.
You can watch it free that night on YouTube. That's how I do it.
There you go. So the pre-show, the buy-in, there's a 10-man tag team match. It's Orange Cassidy, Chuck Taylor, Wheeler, Yuta, and Jurassic Express, which is Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus, with Marco Stunt in their corner, taking on the Hardy Family Office, which will be Matt Hardy, Private Party, and TH2. So a 10-man tag team match there. I don't have much thoughts on that. I think that'll be a fun match. A lot of different crazy spots happening. Orange Cassidy's going to go in there and do his shtick. I think it'll be a fun match to watch.
I don't get why they're linking up Matt Hardy with all these jobbers.
That's a good question. I mean, I wouldn't call Private Party jobbers.
Like,
I mean,
why isn't he broken Matt Hardy?
Well, Tony Khan's not a fan of broken Matt Hardy.
Screw you, Tony.
Tony Khan actually came out and was like, I'll be honest, I wasn't crazy about that character. So
because did you see the match with Orange Cassidy and he was bringing out the delete?
Yeah,
and everybody in the crowd was still screaming delete.
Yeah, he still does his broken Matt Hardy-isms, if you will, but He just the whole character in general, Tony Khan's not a fan. But yeah, that's the buy-in match. That'll be a fun match. I've been really high on Jurassic Express lately. I've enjoyed a lot of their matches and whatnot. So, and then the main card. The first match listed here, the 21-woman Casino Battle Royale. The winner will get an AEW Women's World Championship match against either Dr. Britt Baker, DMD, or Chris Statlander. They're going to be wrestling for the AEW Women's World Champion. We'll talk about that coming up in just a little bit. Here are the participants of the Casino Battle Royale: Nyla Rose, Thunder Rosa, The Bunny, Big Swole, Julia Hart, Ty Conti, Diamante, Penelope Ford, Red Velvet, Hikaru Shida, who I saw today. Somebody said Hikaru Shida hadn't been on TV in like 3 months.
Dang.
Emi Sakura, Jade Cargill, Kiera Hogan, Abaddon, Layla Hirsch, Kylan King, Rebel, Jamie Hayter, Anna Jay, and Riho. And there is still one woman to be determined who, at this point, speculation is obviously whoever the Joker is going to be this woman. And the name that's been thrown around more often than others is Ruby Soho.
Yeah. That's the way you make a splash, unlike the Leo Rush one.
Well, this one's definitely going to be a splash if it is Ruby Soho.
I'd pop.
Yeah, that. Oh yeah, I'd pop too, absolutely.
But why are they putting Rebel in there? They just want her to get hurt.
Well, I think they're running they had a little interview with Britt Baker last night on Dynamite, and she mentioned how Jamie Hayter and Rebel are going to be in the Battle Royale, and obviously the winner gets a shot at the title. So I think Rebel is kind of there to help Jamie Hayter win, so that, and then because Britt Baker knows if Jamie Hayter wins, she won't challenge Britt Baker for the title, so Britt Baker is going to get off scot-free, which obviously if Jamie Hayter does win, Jamie could turn on Britt and challenge her for the championship. But
I don't know.
I don't even know if she's going to win either, because some other names in here, like one name that just pops out to me is Jade Cargill.
Exactly. That's what I was fixing to say. As soon as you said her name, I was like, oh, she's winning.
Well, they got her. I could see... I don't know if I could see... Nyla Rose is another one. They had a little confrontation last night. Jade Cargill and Nyla Rose, I think that would be a money match right there. I think that's two big names in the women's division where you could have something go
but
there.
Seems like they're off the Nyla Rose train, because you remember when she first came out and it was all about Nyla Rose, and now you barely even hear anything.
And then last night, Anna Jay returned from her injury.
God bless you, Anna
Jay.
And
she came out to a good reaction. So I could see her, and this is a scenario where it's over the top rope. No one's going to get pinned here. So I could see a scenario where, a few people will knock Jade Cargill over the top rope, and she gets eliminated without getting pinned. She's still protected, so I could see that scenario happening.
see a push for Penelope Ford.
I could also see Thunder Rosa, because Thunder Rosa,
yeah, you know what? Yes,
Thunder Rosa's another one. She was obviously the NWA Women's World Champion, but she's never been in the AEW Women's World Championship picture. And obviously, she had that match with Britt Baker that really put Britt Baker on the map. Even though Thunder Rosa won that match, that hardcore match they had, but they've never fought for the AEW Women's World Championship. So Thunder Rosa could be another one right there.
Let's
Boom.
give Jade a few more months. Yes, Thunder Rosa, that's the perfect pick.
And Ty Conti's bag. So look, hey, they got some names in here. They got about 4 or 5 girls I could see winning this. And then if Ruby Soho does show up, maybe she wins it too.
Yeah.
Maybe. I mean, I've seen a scenario where I think it was who was it that debuted and won a Casino Battle Royale, maybe? Or I might be thinking of something else. I don't remember, but nonetheless, there's a few women who could win this, including the person who is going to show up as the Joker, which could be Ruby Soho. It could be someone else. We don't know. But
it better not be.
Yeah, I mean, what if it's like Tessa Blanchard or something,
I don't know. I don't think Tony's ready to mess with that just yet.
Maybe not.
Even though Excalibur, had that video surface of him saying the old N-word on the video, and then he only got suspended for like a week and he was back.
Yeah.
So maybe it could be Tessa.
Yeah. So I'm looking forward to the Women's Casino Battle Royale. I'm looking to see who the one, the Joker is. I'm assuming it's going to be the Joker, the last person to come out. But like I said, there's 4 or 5 different women that can win this. I'm curious to see how it goes.
It's going to be a great match.
Speaking of great matches, a singles match, Jon Moxley taking on Satoshi Kojima, a legend in New Japan. Jon Moxley, man, I think he wants to get all these New Japan guys coming to AEW and have these New Japan style matches, a strong style, whatever you want to call it, kind of matches. John, I think, just feeds off of that. Those physical, hard-hitting, shoot-like matches. So this is going to be a physical brawl. Jon Moxley and Satoshi Kojima. I really don't have much else to say about it, but I think it's going to be a fun, especially for people who like New Japan Pro Wrestling. It's going to be that kind of match, and I like New Japan Pro Wrestling, so I'm really going to enjoy that match.
Yeah, I didn't know much about John when he was in the Indies, but apparently he wrestled for CZW and Game Changer and all that.
Oh, yeah.
He was all about the death matches.
Oh, absolutely. Hangman was the Joker in one. That's what you're thinking of. Yeah, Hangman, that was 2 years ago. That was the first ever show that AEW did. That was Double or Nothing. Even though, I guess technically that was Hangman's debut. That was everybody's debut with AEW because that was their first show. So, but I thought maybe somebody came back and won something. But I don't know. Oh, Brian Cage. That's who it was. Brian Cage was the other one. Brian Cage debuted and he won. It was a ladder match they had where he got like the big poker chip or something like that. Oh,
that's right, yeah.
Yeah, when Brian Cage debuted, he won a match. It was at Double or Nothing maybe, or All Out a year ago or something like that. When are they going to
start pushing this guy?
Well, he had a pretty solid match last night with Will Hobbs. Him and those two big old boys right there. So Brian Cage is a guy, he's coming, don't worry. He's going to get there. Right now, there's so many... They're like getting flooded with all this talent right now that they don't know what to do with. I think at times. All right, next match. This will be an AEW. We're having a couple of AEW debuts. Ooh, excuse me. Here on Sunday night, the first one, or at least in-ring debut, Paul White will be taking on QT Marshall, and he'll have Aaron Solo and Nick Comoroto in his corner. I wonder if we're going to maybe have a return of Anthony Ogogo. I know he was hurt. I don't know if maybe he'd come in and help QT Marshall win because I don't see...
With the one fake-ass punch?
Yeah. It's a gut punch. And some people, some people put that over saying it was a real gut punch, it'll get you.
Well, yeah, a real one.
Well, I mean, and he's a legit boxer.
Yeah, I know.
He's won
we've all
Olympic
seen
medal.
His gut punches.
Well, have we felt him?
Neither has the other talent.
Yes, yeah. Cruz agreed. Yes, Brian Cage. Now that you say that, yeah, that was the one. I knew there was someone else. I was like, there's because I did think Hangman, but I was like, well, Hangman was. We knew he was going to be in AEW, and technically it was his in-ring debut with AEW, and he won. Which, like I said, was everyone's in-ring debut that night. But I knew there was another one. So,
how do you think Paul White's mobility is going to be in the ring? He didn't look, when he came out there and with Tony Schiavone, didn't look like he was moving that well.
You know, I think this is going to be a scenario. This could be I wouldn't say a quick match, but a match where Paul White's not going to really...
Like the Factory just jumps him or something?
He's not going to take a bunch of crazy bumps, I don't think. Because, one, especially if he's in there with QT Marshall, and if he can,
He's got to go over, though, huh?
Not Paul White, no.
You don't think so?
No, I mean... I don't see the benefit of him going over QT Marshall. Obviously, QT Marshall is still...
QT loses to everybody, apparently.
Well, this is a way to get him some more heat. And I think, that's what I was saying, what are the chances Paul White, obviously Aaron Solo and Nick Comoroto, they're going to try to get involved. Paul White's going to get rid of them, and it's going to be him and QT Marshall. Here comes Anthony Ogogo returning, and maybe he does something to Paul White, helps QT Marshall win. Because last night on Dynamite, it was a scenario, I'm trying to remember what happened. QT Marshall was in the ring with Solo, Nick Comoroto, and a few other guys from the Factory. A few other guys I've never seen before. But here comes Paul White, and they all jump him. And then he tries to kind of get rid of them all and whatnot. And then, who was it that came out and tried
Cody
to make...
came and saved the day.
No, Cody was nowhere to be found. I don't remember what happened, but ultimately it came down to the fact that, the Gun Club came down.
Oh, okay.
Billy Gunn and his two sons came down to kind of help out, and they cleared the ring. Well, Billy Gunn heel turned and hit Show in the back with a steel chair, and then hit him over the head with a steel chair. laid him out. They left the ring. QT Marshall in the factory comes back in, and QT just stands over him, puts his arm up.
Oh, wow.
So Billy Gunn and the Gun Club did all the dirty work, and QT Marshall. So that's what I have a feeling is going to happen in this match on Sunday. Ogogo could come in, do the dirty work, and allow QT Marshall to get the victory.
Well, Paul White's also got the one punch as well.
Yeah, he does. Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
so-
and he used it last night.
And all he's got to do is step to the left a little bit. Ogogo never see it coming.
Hell no, he doesn't go over. I don't know. I don't know if he's referring to
Must be Paul
Paul
White.
White or QT Marshall.
No, because I said Paul White's got to go over, right? And that's what,
yeah,
that's
I
what
was
he's
like,
probably
I don't.
responding
I guess I don't see a. I mean, I wouldn't mind if he goes over, but I don't see the long term benefit of him going over on QT Marshall. That's just me.
to. I feel like my joke on Anthony Ogogo's blindness just went by the wayside there.
Oh, it definitely did because I did not catch it. I did not catch it whatsoever. So
Dang it.
that's on me, folks. Over the head. All right, next match. This one's very intriguing. Chris Jericho versus MJF. If Jericho loses, he must retire from in-ring competition. In AEW, they're specifically saying AEW, which at this point, I don't know if I see Jericho wrestling for another company. I mean,
New Japan, come on.
yeah, I mean, I suppose, but you know what? Man, Jericho, those 5 labors of Jericho, I mean, Jericho's body went through a lot.
Yes.
And I think he has a tour coming up with Fozzy. And obviously, they brought Jericho to AEW to, start a good foundation to this roster. He was the inaugural AEW World Champion. You had to put the belt first on somebody like a Chris Jericho, somebody who's a legend and an icon, who's got as good of a wrestling resume as there is out there right now. And he's helped carry this company for a little while, but man, they got so much star power now that I don't want to say they don't need Chris Jericho, but Chris Jericho can go sit at commentary and thrive, and this company will still do just as well if Jericho is not in the ring. But the fact that they have him on commentary, they can have him come out because some promos, do whatever the case may be. Without wrestling, they'll be fine.
Put Mark Henry out of a job. He sucks.
Yeah, I mean, I guess Mark's... He does okay on Busted Open at times. I like him on Busted Open. But as an announcer, because as an announcer, I feel like you kind of have to really not be emotional, but express your emotions, I guess you can say.
He's even worse as an interviewer.
Yeah.
Garbage. Have you heard the new Fozzy song?
No.
Oh, it's so good.
I'm sure it is. We'll have to listen to it. So, Jericho, MJF, I really, man, this was tough because MJF has 3 victories over Jericho. I think 2 by pinfall. One of them was the Blood and Guts match on May 5th. Well, actually, one's by pinfall. The other's by submission. And then he's had the one where I'm trying to remember how that match ended, Blood and Guts on May 5th, where he had him on top of the cage. Mm-hmm. And I think they had to just say we forfeit or we give up or whatever, some bullshit like that.
Yeah, he was going to throw him off the cage.
And he threw him off anyway.
And then the guys down there were like, hey, we forfeit. And he threw him off anyway into fake cardboard.
So,
that looked like steel.
I guess technically it's a victory from MJF, over, but he didn't pin him. But he did make him tap out, obviously, a couple of weeks ago. So I really don't know how this match is going to go. Jericho came into the ring last night with JR, and he kind of cut a little promo, and it seemed like he was getting. It seemed like he wanted to get a little emotional about it. So that made me wonder. I was like, is MJF really going to go over and are we going to? Because obviously, when guys like this have their retirement match, they got to put over a young and up and coming talent, and I mean MJF is the epitome of that.
Yeah,
and I mean
the fastest rising superstar in
wrestling.
wrestling.
And it's funny because during Jericho's promo, he said, MJF, you are cocky and arrogant, and so am I, and you're this and this, and so am I. Every time he described something about MJF, he's like, well, I'm that too. So, it's almost like MJF, it seems to me, and this is what I got out of it, other people may have gotten something different, but it's almost as if Jericho is passing the proverbial torch to MJF in a way. That's what I got out of it. So I really don't know and I haven't been given winners or anything in these matches, which I really don't even want to at this point. I just want to talk about this and how awesome of a show it's going to be. I don't know what's going to happen in this match. Obviously, I could see it going either way. But if MJF goes over on Jericho, man,
yeah,
That's gonna be crazy.
It'd be stunned silence. In
I think there's gonna be some shock value. But I saw a comment that Punk said. This is what makes me think Jericho's gonna go over. Punk made a comment, I think on Twitter or something. I saw on Reddit that he replied to someone else's comment about AEW, and he said, "We're gonna stoop so low when it comes to catering to the fans by 10 o'clock on Sunday night. It's gonna be ridiculous." So obviously, when you tell me that you're gonna cater to the fans, a scenario like this, Chris Jericho could go over. So that's the only reason I would think maybe Jericho goes over. But if MJF goes over, it's gonna be one of those things where the shock value is gonna be almost as high as when the Undertaker's streak was ended by Brock Lesnar. That's my opinion. I don't think it's going to be quite at that level, but I think the shock value is going to be like, wow, like Jericho's done. He's not going to wrestle anymore. And that's kind of crazy to think because he's been around for so long, but...
See, I think he may be talking about what we're going to talk about with Daniel Bryan's debut, because the other day when the crowd was chanting yes, 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 he said that's somebody else's gimmick. You're going to have to wait a little bit for that.
Well, we're going to talk about that coming up in Rumor Mill,
yeah,
coming up in a little bit. But Jericho MJF, that's going to be that's arguably the most intriguing matchup just because of the fact, well, no, I would say CM Punk and Darby Allen is the most intriguing matchup because obviously it's Punk's first wrestling match in 7 years. So
in Chicago. So Jericho and MJF, I would say, is easily the second most intriguing match of the entire card, in my opinion. The next match is a singles match for the AEW TNT Championship. It's Miro versus Eddie Kingston. This is going to be an interesting match. They had a little video package about this last night. I wish we could have seen more of these two guys, maybe cutting promos on one another or interactions on Dynamite and whatnot, but this will be a really good match. I see Miro retaining, but I think Eddie's going to obviously put on a great match with him and Miro. You know what? Eddie's a great talker.
Oh, he's tremendous.
But he's straight indie skills in the ring. This guy isn't next level. He's got to where he is because he's savvy, he's street smart, he's a great talker, and he probably knew the Young Bucks.
Yeah, but you know what? I think a guy like Eddie Kingston, obviously he doesn't look the part of a pro wrestler like most guys do. I mean, he doesn't look like Miro. But I think the fact that he is a great talker on the mic, I mean, he's arguably one of the best, not just in AEW, but in professional wrestling. He has that connection with the crowd, and he's decent in the ring. I'll say he's good in the ring. I'm gonna say he's good in the ring because I'm not saying he's Kenny Omega or Andrade or Pac or Will Ospreay, but he's good enough in the ring that his personality, his mic skills make him nearly a complete package. But
what did he do to deserve this title shot?
That's a good question. I don't know. I mean,
absolutely nothing.
Well, I think it's a good matchup. It's something they probably said, all right, who's somebody, because obviously Miro's a heel. They said, we need a good face that can go up and challenge Miro at our biggest pay-per-view. Eddie Kingston wasn't doing anything. They said, all right, Eddie, here you go. So I think it's going to be a great match. I think.
How about putting Luchasaurus in that match?
Well, he's in the.
Yeah, I know.
So Luchasaurus, I think it's still, as far as a single title match or titles run, I mean, I think he'll get it at some point. I just don't,
I'm ready to pull the pin on that. I'm ready for it to happen.
I don't think they're ready to pull the trigger on that one yet. So, all right, next match is a steel cage match. They haven't had many of those. For the AEW World Tag Team Championships, the Young Bucks, man, this one's going to be...
Yeah.
This could be the match of the night. The Young Bucks taking on the Lucha Brothers.
Yeah, they've had a lot of bangers in the past.
Oh, my God, have they? And I love the Lucha Brothers. I hope they win. But I don't know. They could win.
I hope not, because the Young Bucks and the Whole Elite thing is just so good right now.
Yeah, it really is good. But, I would not be upset if the Lucha Brothers win this, and then the Young Bucks obviously get try and get a rematch, which they probably would, because they're one of the EVPs and they just have that control,
that swang.
Yeah, they got that swang in the company, so they're going to put on a banger. I hope the Lucha Brothers win it because they have not been tag team champions yet. I think they're
they're ready to be tag team champions. So I'm looking forward to that match. That could be match of the night. I'm just saying right now. So looking forward to that one. The next match is a singles match for the AEW Women's World Championship. Dr. Britt Baker, DMD, taking on Chris Statlander. Should be a pretty good match. I do not see a scenario of Dr. Britt Baker losing to Chris Statlander. That's pretty much
exactly. There's no way.
There's no shot that Britt Baker, DMD, is losing that match. All right, then you got CM Punk versus Darby Allen, which I just said the Young Bucks and the Lucha Brothers could be match of the night, and this match is going to probably challenge that for match of the night. Obviously, we know how good Darby is. We know how good CM Punk can be, although he's been out of the ring for 7 years. But I've heard rumors that, he's kind of gotten back and did some training. He did the Heels show.
Mm-hmm.
Word I've gotten is that it looks like he hasn't missed a beat in the wrestling ring. And then now he's going to get to go in there and do whatever he wants against Darby Allen. Like, these two guys, something about it just feels like they're going to have amazing chemistry in that ring. So I'm really looking forward to that. And, man, so CM Punk, he came back. I mean, one of the best moments in wrestling in a very long time.
Mm-hmm.
Now that he's back, we're starting to see him more and more often. I'm not saying the crowd is not as excited to see him, but obviously, the shock value of him being there is no longer, not really there anymore. It's come, it's gone, it's whatever.
He will be in Chicago.
Well, don't get me wrong. They're going to be excited to see him in Chicago. What's going to be, as soon as that bell rings and we're going to get to see CM Punk wrestle, that's when it's going to, that excitement's about to be like, okay, here we go. Yes, we get to see Punk. Now, we get to see him come back. We saw him cut a few promos. We saw him beat up 2.0 and Daniel Garcia a little bit. He hit the GTS for the first time last night. Now we're going to see him really wrestle a match. Like, man, it's one of those things. All right, now we're getting more excited again. Now it's back. And so I'm looking forward to see what CM Punk can do in the ring after a 7-year hiatus.
See, I think they should have saved the GTS. Can you imagine the decibels in that arena when he would have pulled out the GTS for the first time for the win?
I mean, he could do that. He could save it to the very end of the match. I expect Punk to win this match, and he could do all these other moves, and then when it comes time for it, he'll hit the GTS. Cruz said, God, I hope Lucha Bros go over. Yes, I hope they do too, Cruz. I love the Lucha Brothers, man. They are awesome. They are ready to be tag team champions, and I would, like I said, the whole thing with the Elite they got going on, they got all the belts and everything, except, Kenny lost the Impact belt to Christian Cage, but even if the Young Bucks lose it, they could have a rematch and win it back. I wouldn't be mad to get an extra match between those two teams, because those two teams, you want to talk about chemistry, those two teams got the chemistry.
And one of the best intro songs in AEW.
Oh yeah. You talking about the Lucha Brothers?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Good. I was hoping you were talking about them and not the Bucks, but which the Bucks is okay, but Lucha Bros theme song.
Yeah.
Except everything about them, their theme song, the Cero Miedo, the crowd loves that shit.
Yeah.
Their look, their in-ring ability, they are the complete package when it comes to a tag team.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I cannot find a flaw with these guys, except the fact that they might not be able to speak complete, perfect English, but that's okay. I don't care about that, because everything else is just phenomenal that they do.
It doesn't matter, because the crowd's going to say whatever they say in Spanish anyway.
Cero Miedo. That's all they need to say is Cero Miedo. That's it. Boom. That's it. All right, but so CM Punk, Darby Allen, I think that's going to be electric. The crowd's going to be so hot for that, because one, obviously it's in Chicago. I think Punk's going to win, get a big crowd reaction. Boom, Punk's back. He's got a big win, and then I'll really be curious to see. All right, where are they going to take Punk after this? We'd love to see him fight Sting, because Sting literally said in the ring last night, because they helped. It was him, Darby, and Punk that helped get rid of 2.0 and Daniel Garcia. And Sting cut a little promo and said, first off, I've always wanted to share a ring with you. Mucho respect. So wouldn't be surprised to see them share a ring together, go one-on-one.
It'd be a great match
at some point soon. Maybe the next pay-per-view. That'd be awesome.
Yeah.
All right, so the main event, Kenny Omega taking on Christian Cage for the AEW World Championship.
Christian Cage got the victory over him a few weeks ago on Rampage to win the Impact World title, but I don't see him going over Kenny, Sunday. I mean, I think it's going to be a really good match, but no shot Kenny loses that belt. That's all I got to say about that. I mean, Kenny's going to continue to go. Like I said earlier, I would not be surprised if Kenny keeps holding on to this belt and the next guy that takes it off of him is CM Punk.
Yeah.
Maybe early next year or maybe next year, Double or Nothing or something like that. So that's my thoughts on it. You got any thoughts on it?
No, same here. I did hear, this is interesting. I don't know if we talked about this, but I'd seen somewhere that Kenny Omega offered to drop the AAA belt to Andrade because Ric Flair was at that event, and AAA put the kibosh on it.
Yeah, I did hear that too, but yeah, it's whatever. I don't watch AAA all that much, so would they do? I could care less. So, but yeah, so that's the AEW All Out card, little rundown. Man, it's going to be a great show.
Yes.
It's going to be awesome. I will try to tune in on Sunday night. I got some other plans, but if I don't tune in Sunday night, I'm off Monday. Monday morning, I'm waking up, fixing some coffee, watching All Out. So whether it's Sunday night or Monday morning, I'm watching it. And
What's it going to be on, Fight TV?
Yeah, internationally, but here in the States, Bleacher Report.
Oh, okay.
So if you're outside of the U.S., that win to take it off Kenny is Hangman. Yeah, that's true. Hangman takes the belt off Kenny, thus completing his story in Rise. Yeah, that is true. Which we thought it was going to be, because I thought that was the original plan, at least for Sunday, was to have Hangman and Kenny go one-on-one, and then they, use your word you said a while ago, they put the kibosh on that. So, and now they got Christian Cage on there. But that's okay, because Christian Cage is a guy that does not need to win the AEW World Championship, and he's a guy that can go in. He's a veteran, big name, Hall of Fame caliber superstar that can go in here and have a great match with a guy like Kenny Omega, put Kenny over, and Kenny will go on and eventually, like I said, Hangman. And maybe CM Punk takes it off of Hangman. That would be a great match too. Yeah. CM Punk and Hangman Page. Take all of my money on that one. But yeah, that's AEW All Out this Sunday night on Bleacher Report here in the States, and then internationally it'll be on Fight TV. All right, next thing we're going to talk about here, if I can pull up the damn rundown. All right, it's Cheap Heat now.
Yeah.
So Nia Jax and Charlotte Flair had a match on Monday Night Raw, and it appeared that, I really don't know what happened here, but man, there was some unusual parts to that match where it looks like they were just legitimately trying to just scrap with each other. And some people were saying there was a back suplex or something. I don't know, the drop back. I forgot what the name of the thing was, but Nia did some kind of suplex. Let's see if I can find it here, maybe. But she did some kind of suplex where she dropped Charlotte very awkwardly. It looked like it hurt.
Yeah, straight on the dome.
I don't know if it was straight on the dome, but it wasn't. Like I said, I don't think that's exactly how she was supposed to fall. It didn't look like it was a lethal back suplex. That's what it's called.
But she should know how to deliver a suplex by now. That was on purpose.
Well, and I haven't paid as close of attention to the matches these two women have had in the past, but people on Reddit were saying how these two women apparently have anti-chemistry. Their matches have never been really that great. And what I'm thinking happened is I guess Nia did that. Charlotte was like, well, screw you. And they kind of started because I think Charlotte slapped her, and it looked very unusual. And I think they got into a little shoot fight there for a little bit in the ring. But I read a thing somewhere online that when they went backstage, that was the end of it. They didn't really come after each other or anything like that. But I don't know if there's if they just were screw her, I'm not even going to talk to her, or whatever the case may be. But there wasn't any altercation or anything like that. So I wonder if this is just something that happened in the heat of the moment. It blew over. I don't know.
I think so, because PW Insider is saying the same thing that you were. They're saying exactly what it looked like is what it was. Communication breakdown led to real punches and slaps being thrown. Flair and Jax got back on the same page and finished the match, and there was no trouble backstage afterwards.
Yeah, so I guess all is well, which is I hope is the case, because obviously those are two big names for WWE, and hopefully if they wrestle again, they can kind of get their chemistry down and have a good match.
But you know what? Nia Jax is just so reckless in general. I mean, just because your family is great at wrestling doesn't mean you're great at wrestling. And I think her family lineage is what's keeping her on a contract.
Yeah.
But they need to fire her ass, man.
Oh, yeah?
I mean, so many girls have just been decimated by her, and she keeps wrestling.
Yeah, I'm a fan of Nia Jax. I will say that. She's never done anything that I was like, I don't like her. Like, she posts some good thirst traps every now and again, so I do like that. But
When she hit the side of the mat, oh, my hole.
yeah, that was kind of funny. So, I think Nia draws in some viewership a little bit, especially with girls.
No, she's not putting the asses on the seats.
Maybe not a lot, but I think she's pulling some, and she's been around. She's an established name, obviously, in WWE. She's been around for a handful of years now and whatnot, and she's just obviously. I'm not going to sit here and call her names, but she's obviously a bigger woman, and she puts off that. I don't know, I'm trying to think of like a good term to use here.
Badass attitude.
Yeah, that's in the ballpark. A badass, like a powerhouse, I guess.
Shoot fighter.
No, I wouldn't say I wasn't going to go that direction, but she's like a strong, very powerful woman. She's almost like kind of like the Big Show, like of the women. She's not, I wouldn't even use the term attraction either, but she's just a big physical. She has a big physical presence in the ring, so that's kind of where the direction I was going in with that.
She's also The Rock's cousin, so
yeah, that too. But that's I wasn't gonna go that direction either. So, but yeah, it seems like all is fine. It didn't look good in the ring, but
no.
I guess it was fine with them. So, all right, let's go to Rumor Mill now. Let's see here. We got a few things in Rumor Mill. All right,
Yeah, boy.
First thing is, what is CM Punk's future in MMA? Even before, and I ended up seeing it as I was scrolling down Reddit, but I could have already told you what his future in MMA was even before he came back to wrestling. But go ahead.
Yeah, MMAfighting.com is reporting CM Punk is officially retired from MMA.
I think he's been retired from MMA.
Yeah, he should have been retired after that Mickey Gall fight. He notified UFC of his decision was removed from their anti-doping program testing pool earlier this year. Why is it, dude? As terrible as he looked in the UFC for, what do you have, 2 fights?
Yeah.
Why is he still even being considered to come back and fight, possibly?
Because he's a big name. He's gonna, if you're
Yeah, but
Dana
everybody-
White, you obviously a guy like CM Punk, despite the fact that he's been 0-2, if you put him on another card, you're going to draw in a handful more people. But and the way CM Punk went into MMA, he should have gone the amateur route first and then moved up, but instead he decided to go straight into the UFC with zero experience. And then he got his ass kicked once, and I'll give him credit. He went back. He said, "Okay, let's see if we went in there. We did everything wrong. Let's see if we can fix it and try it one more time." He tried it one more time. It did not work, and now he's back where he belongs, in my opinion, professional wrestling in AEW. So he went. You know what? Because his time in WWE made him fall out of love with professional wrestling. So I think for a while he's like, I don't even want to deal with it. So what's the next best thing I can go do? Let me go try MMA. And I'm sure Dana said, well, he's a pretty big name. Let's see, we'll throw him a little bit of cash. And he went straight into the main cards of UFC. And with zero experience, you're going to go up against these guys who've probably been training a hell of a lot longer than you, like Mickey Gall, and I don't remember the second guy he fought, but you got his ass kicked. And then 2 strikes, and usually 3 strikes you're out, but in this case 2 strikes, he's like, you know what, I'm just not even going to try it again. And,
yeah, getting punched hurts.
And then up until the point where he returned to professional wrestling, Dana White probably said, hey, if he wants to fight again, I'll let him fight. I might not let him fight in a main card. Maybe I'll give him a preliminary card spot, but he'll draw some eyeballs. So business-wise, it wouldn't have been the worst decision for Dana White to have him come back and fight in a preliminary fight somewhere.
And look, I can't hate a man for stacking the Skrilla, but he should have known what time it was and not gone to the UFC. I mean, that's the most premier fighting club in the world. What he should have done, he's all into parkour. He should have been like a professional obstacle racer. That
maybe.
would have been cool. I would love to see that.
Yeah, that would have been cool, but
Not the same money.
that's okay. I'm
that sport.
perfectly content with where he's at right now.
Yeah.
All right, the next thing in rumor mill: Bryan Danielson's AEW debut.
Yeah, big news coming from the Wrestling Observer Live with Brian Alvarez. Due to concerns about how COVID could impact their debut in New York, September 22nd, Cassidy Haynes of Bodyslam.net and Brian Alvarez say I almost put a JR there. AEW has decided to move up Bryan Danielson's first appearance to All Out.
Which is this Sunday, folks.
Yes.
So he shows up at All Out. If you had to guess right now, in what manner does he show up?
After Kenny's match.
Think he comes out and confronts Kenny?
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, I suppose.
Challenges him for the title.
That'd be that's a match a lot of people would want to see. Bryan Danielson and Kenny Omega. Are you kidding me? I don't know if they've ever wrestled before.
I'm getting all tingly just thinking about it.
Yeah, that would be awesome. I don't know. That's the thing. I don't know because I would say if they had like a 21-man casino battle royale, he'd come out as the Joker, but they don't have a men's version of that at All Out coming up. So I don't know. Obviously, when Christian showed up, there was hype around it because they were talking about, hey, we got a new signee that's going to show up, but they haven't really done that.
Mm-hmm.
They haven't teased. I mean, they've teased us, but they haven't teased us at All Out. So I don't know. That would be cool to see him show up to confront Kenny at the end.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I'm gonna go out on a limb and say he's gonna show up. Shoot, I don't know.
It's the only place that makes sense.
I'm trying to think of another place that might make sense.
Or after the CM Punk match.
Maybe so. My guess is I don't know. I'm not even gonna guess. I'm just gonna wait and enjoy the hell out of it. Hoping he shows up. All right, the next one, new trademark filed by WWE.
Yeah, WWE recently filed a trademark for Queen's Crown Tournament, which is believed to be the Queen of the Ring tournament, rumored to be concluding at the Crown Jewel in Saudi Arabia next month. I
love the idea to have a women's King of the Ring. You know, they've introduced the women into Hell in a Cell. They've had a woman, I think they had a TLC match, a women's TLC match. They now have the women's Royal Rumble match. And, hey, you know, what else? They had their all-women's pay-per-view, which, in my opinion, they should still be doing every year. But I think the only reason they did that is because they had Ronda Rousey. But whatever. So I think by having it's one of those things like, all right, what else can we do with the women that we have not done yet? A women's Queen of the Ring tournament.
Yeah.
Because obviously the King of the Ring tournament has been so iconic in building superstars when the King of the Ring tournament was a thing, and now a Queen of the Ring tournament. And then you can like take somebody, because like they did with King Corbin, he won the King of the Ring and he turned it into a whole gimmick. And now you can do the same thing with a woman, turn them into a queen and turn them into a gimmick. You know,
perfect for Carmella.
It's perfect for a woman like Carmella. Some other ones I'm thinking of are like Mandy Rose. Well, she's in NXT now, but Liv Morgan.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of who else off the top of my head that you can give this to. I would love to see Liv Morgan. That would be because Liv, like, she needs that push. So
that push and the tush.
That's right. And then final thing on Rumor Mill, the latest on the Lashley and Goldberg feud.
Saving the best for last, baby.
I guess.
Let's see. WrestleVotes is reporting that Bobby Lashley and Goldberg are planned for a match at Crown Jewel next month as well.
I guess I'll have to miss that one.
That Saudi prince loves him some Goldberg, huh?
Well, if he's dishing out the money, you know, Vince can whatever you want, you know, and I don't know why he wants Oldberg, but whatever. So
with this match, what does that mean? He's got like 2 matches left on his contract or something like that?
Yeah, it's too many, but I don't know. I'm sick of Gold. Well, I'm sick of Goldberg fighting for championships. If he wants to come back and squash Dolph Ziggler again for no championship, that's fine. But he needs to be out of title pictures. It should have been. Well, now we're going to have Brock and Roman at some point, but it should have been Brock and Lashley, but I guess that's why they decided to bring Goldberg in, because they were like, hey, we're going to bring Brock back, and he's going to go up against Roman again. But this time it's a little different because the heel and face roles are reversed. Brock's going to be the face, Roman's the heel, and now you got Paul Heyman on, so that adds a little wrinkle into that feud. But yeah, as far as Goldberg and Lashley, that can't end soon enough, as far as I'm concerned.
That's it.
Yeah, that's it, man. Another good show. Looking forward to All Out on Sunday. Man, I'm jacked up about it. I can't wait. I know a lot of folks out there are jacked up about it as well. It's going to be a great show. Should have some great surprises. Bryan Danielson, it appears he's going to show up there. All signs are pointing towards that. What'll be interesting to see is in what form of fashion he shows up at All Out.
Yeah, just like the IWC is saying, AEW is the WWE that WWE never gave us.
Well, I wouldn't say that, but I mean, yeah, it's obviously in the last few years we wanted WWE to really excel, and now AEW is the hottest wrestling company on the planet right now, as far as I'm concerned.
How long is the contract with Fox
for WWE?
Yeah,
that's a good question. I have no idea.
probably like 10 years or something.
Maybe. I don't. No, well, I really don't know. I'd have to look into it, which I don't have time to do right now.
Because it seems like they're upset every week with something that WWE does. Can you imagine as soon as that contract's over?
I think a lot of people are upset with things that WWE does every week.
AEW moves over there.
I don't know if they're there quite yet. I think they like where they're at right now with TNT, and then I think they're going to be moving to TBS, or Rampage is going to be moving to TBS at the beginning of next year or something like that. So the Turner Group, they're liking that right now. But eventually, at the rate they're getting more popular, more popular, more popular. They might get to a point where, hey, they could be like on a what they call a network, I guess, or whatever. So,
all right, follow us on your favorite social media platforms. Of course, that would be Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, YouTube. Just search AMP Wrestling Podcast. And make sure if you need some CBD, if you got some aches and pains, or you need help sleeping, or you need some stress relief, or you just want to get that Delta 8 THC that is legal, boys. Get your little buzzy buzz. They got it. tinyurl.com/CBDFORYOU.
Crew said, show up like Mox and drop his ass on a stack of chips. I guess he's talking about maybe Daniel Bryan showing up, confronting Kenny Omega. And then he also said, my petition now for Goldberg versus Big E. Give me Big E versus Lashley. I'd love that. That's what I would really want to see.
Yes.
All right, man. That's it.
All right, you ready?
Yes, sir.
Get us out of here, son.
Outro.
You've been listening to the Average Marks Pro Wrestling Podcast with David Boston and Patrick Fry. All opinions discussed in the show are those of Average Marks and do not represent any wrestling company, organization, or individual. This has been a Lake Area Media, LLC production.